Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Son? Welcome everyone to Satsang. I'm going to start a little bit earlier today because I have to be for a shortened period of time. So, each of you already knows the truth of your own nature. You know you are the self. This is apparent in the recognition, I am. This simple recognition, I am. So when I speak about sadhana, understand that I am already aware that you are the self. And on some level, you also are aware. I am. I exist. And before this I am is pristine awareness or naked awareness. Somehow you know that. Otherwise you couldn't be sitting here in this room. So we're not talking about the foregone conclusion of your recognition of the self. So what I am going to talk about today is a little bit about the persistence that's required until you become firm and stable in this recognition, I am the self. In Advaita, we talk about the persistence or persistence is a good word, of sadhana, the necessity to keep returning to it over and over. In Buddhism, this characteristic is referred to as beginning again. And the implication is that there has to be a willingness in you throughout your life, throughout your sadhana, until you become stabilized in the self, for you to return over and over to your sadhana, which is what you are doing here. So I'm not sharing something with you that you all don't know, merely pointing it out to you again, the necessity of beginning again. The reason I'm pointing it out to you is because of this experience that I've just had, because it's necessary as these waves come and go. Yes, we are here with matching armbands. It's necessary as these waves come and go, because the waves will continue to come and go as long as there is a body. No? Yes. As long as there is the body-mind, which is both the vehicle of realization or recognition, and sometimes seems to be the encumbrance or the barrier. But this is not so. This is just a misperception. But anytime one of these waves like this goes through, we need to remind ourselves as quickly as possible. If we forget, if we are stabilized in the self, of course there's no forgetting. But if there is a forgetting that happens through some wave which is passing through the body-mind, then we remind ourselves as quickly as possible, whether it's a physical thing like this, or whether it's an emotional upset, or some dramatic change in our life in some way. We remind ourselves, through the grace of Arunachala, through the grace of Bhagavan, that we must begin again in some way. That if this disturbance has gone through and in some way it has diminished or impaired our recognition, I am the self, or I am, we simply begin again. There are no mistakes. Nothing wrong is happening. And I want to remind you that even with the recognition, the self alone is, whatever the prarabdha karma of an individual body is, will continue to evolve and continue to flow as it needs to. This doesn't always mean that you will be injured or you'll have some big traumatic thing in your life. It's just the understanding that to have a body-mind, to have taken form, is both your great blessing because of the opportunity it affords you to wake up to the true recognition of who you are, and is also that which you have to work through, you have to work with, and eventually it is going to go. So even though it may be challenging for you and it may be difficult at any given moment, still we know that this is an opportunity, whatever it is, to allow the waves to go through without reactivity. That it becomes possible, even under difficult circumstances, to remain as the witness, as the observer of what is happening, and then to inquire deeply, who am I? Who is this witness? Who is this observer? To really challenge the perception and the notion, I am the body. To really be willing to challenge that. To see these difficult emotions, states of mind, and so on, experiences, and really begin to question in a very deep way, who is this I that experiences or feels any of this? And if I understand I am not the body and I am not the mind, then to continue to ask this question, who am I? We ask this question not to answer it, of course, you know this. We ask this question in order to stabilize in this pure recognition and this understanding. Only the self is. What manifests as experience is not reality. What is aware, with or without experience, this is the reality. And you are that. So each time that some wave flows through the body-mind, simply remember, I am the self, and the self alone is. Until your resolve is so strong that there's not anything that can shake it. One of the definitions of awakened mind is a freedom from doubt. So this is that unshakable recognition. Only the self is. So you begin again as often as you need to, for as long as you need to. One day, everything will fall away. And you will know, I am the self. Not because you have set up or manifested some perfect condition, but because this was already the case. It was only your recognition of this truth that was lacking. And of course, this recognition, I am the self, and this loss of doubt also means loss of ego, loss of the personal. So this is the way that you can measure as you go along. When you feel this ego rise, when you feel this attachment to the personal rise through any of your experiences, it's a simple thing. You don't need to be judgmental about yourself. You simply know there's more work to do. And you continue. You begin again. You persist. One day, some experience will come to you, inside or outside, through body, mind, or world, or just through simple recognition, and nothing will move. There will be no reactivity. The body will go through what the body has to go through, or nothing will happen. And in this loss of the personal, the ultimate, supreme, aware, being consciousness will be seen. All right, let's take a few minutes. Let's see if we can remove some doubts. Do we have a microphone somewhere? So if you have something you'd like to say or some question or We can pass you a microphone.
How are you?
How am I? Good, very good. Yeah, yeah. Body's a little rough at the moment, but yeah, everything else is good. I have good, being very well taken care of, very good surgeons, so yeah, all is well. Thank you. I'm very happy to be back here with you.
I'm very happy to be here with you too. Last week I told you, or I told everybody that I feel a bit stuck in a beautiful place. That pull in the middle of my chest that pulls everything inwards, and that I feel from there I'm in this vastness and love, but it doesn't go on from there. And you told me to forsake this beautiful experience and ask the question, who is aware of that vastness? So I've been doing this for a week now, and it feels a little stale. It feels the question, sometimes it takes me deeper, or sometimes it feels like something is opening, and sometimes it feels almost like mental, almost like a step back, right, from that beauty of the pull in the heart. All of a sudden it feels like I'm more in the mind again, and sometimes even the answer comes, well, obviously the mind is aware of this pull, and then it gets all mental. And
Yes, absolutely.
So I just wanted to report that and ask you what your take is on this.
So your perception is absolutely right, that when this question is asked in a mental way like that, then the whole process becomes a mental process. So I would just recommend to you that you allow yourself to fall into this heart space. And in this heart space, this question, who is aware of this, keep that question in the heart space. Don't let it rise back up as a mental concept. Because it's also true that you can use any kind of a mantra, you can use the names of the Lord or whatever, you can use any kind of chanting, and it simply becomes a mental process, and then no progress is possible. Because the door to the heart is still kept closed. So the secret for all of this is really to remember, as you are engaged in your sadhana, actually in every moment of your life, to keep checking in with the heart. to not in a mental way, just checking in and asking, am I open? Is the feeling I'm experiencing right now in the body mind a sense of being open or being closed? Open before you enter your sadhana. Then you know that you are falling into the heart and opening into this beginning again or persistence process from the heart space rather than from the mind space. And you'll know it. You already know the difference. So when the space is, when you feel yourself, when you feel it's becoming purely mental or you're somehow taking a step backward, yes, trust that. And know that the necessity is to drop the mind part of it, fall into the heart again, into the open space of this vast awareness. And in that space, don't even question, just notice something is aware of that space. Then you don't even have to ask the question, what is aware of the space? You're just noticing directly that something that you cannot see, that you cannot make an object out of it, is simply aware of this vast space. Because in this place, this is such a subtle place, there needs to be this recognition that there not only is no subject, no object, there is no subject either. And what you do when you ask the question mentally over and over, what is aware of this, is you are in essence making yourself the subject again, looking for an object. So again, I would just encourage you, allow yourself to fall, the space you know so well, you know the way there, no problem. So open into this space, and from that space, notice in a very gentle and uncontrolled sort of way that something is aware. And once you've connected with that recognition that in the space of vast recognition, there is something aware, let go.
Let go.
That is the end of sadhana. Now you have to give the sadhana to the Supreme. You have to give the sadhana to the heart. And you have to allow yourself to be pulled in. That's why I say you have to let go. Because the you has to disappear for there to be any more, for any, I don't want to say deeper, for their higher, whatever, for there to be a greater recognition. This is the place where all the subtle vestiges of me and mine have to be dropped. Okay. And this is that persistence piece, because, until you are firmly established in that open space of recognition, this experience of things kind of like going into the heart, up to the mind, into the heart, up to the mind, forward, backward, progressing, not progressing, all of that continues until it stops.
It continues, and it's also watched.
Yes.
Right. So it's always about that subtle remembrance in the heart that all this, even the most beautiful pull, is being watched.
Yes. Yes. But if you take it on, like we're talking about, as a mental practice,
no good.
It's a noticing, because the space is so subtle that if it's more than a noticing, you will feel the space close, and that's your key right there. Is you feel the space close, and you simply know there isn't anything to do. Especially, don't react against that having happened. Just open again. Just open again. Relax. Open. Begin again. Open. And notice. So here in these places, the sadhana has to become, the watching, the observing, the witnessing has to become as subtle as the phenomenon are. If the witnessing becomes not as subtle as the phenomenon are, and as soon as everything is relaxed and the simple noticing of presence is here, comes back again, then everything opens and the energy drops from the mind back into the heart. Okay, okay. Yeah. So this kind of pointing instruction is really for those of you who have come to these subtle places like this and understood that you cannot make an effort anymore. Why? Because effort is always in relationship to me, to an imagined you. So as soon as you begin to effort in that direction, in that kind of subtle space, there's a closing that happens. So then it's always this instruction, this pointer is always to open, to relax, to rest, to wait on the will of heaven, if you will, wait on God's divine moment. Trust. You can say in the simplest terms, you are not needed anymore. So stop it. Huh? This you that has been such a help all along for such a long time is not needed anymore. You are already here. So stop it.
In this process of inquiry, when there is physical pain or emotional pain, sometimes it feels to me that the body or the mind is stronger than the process of inquiry, and I get stuck, or I have the tendency to get distracted, and then I feel frustrated because I feel that this opportunity, when there is a pain, is wasted. And then I enter in this circle of frustration, and I feel that even that I cannot manage this opportunity, and I just get stuck or easily distracted. And so, how to overcome this being stuck and distracted, and go deeper and further in that pain? Thank
Yes? So first I would like you to notice, just quickly in a moment, review what you just said. Because what you did was you actually explained the whole chain of your process. How the pain comes, and then some reactivity comes, and some identification comes, and then it gets worse, and then some judgment about the personal comes. And you see how this whole chain of events unfolds itself. So this is the process of identification. So that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. This is the process of the identification that goes from the self or from the open heart all the way into the personal, and then further than that into the mind and into the world as one's experience, and into judgment and all of that, of oneself, of others, of the circumstances. So you see the way the whole thing progresses. Once you know that, so you know it clearly now, so the pointer is just going to be, in some way, not this simple, but stop it. And the reason is that what you are not seeing is not you. The belief is that this is me, that is doing this, that this is happening to. No. This is conditioning. This is the way that you have been raised throughout this lifetime, perhaps through other lifetimes, to relate to the events as you perceive them. So you're relating to them in a certain way. And you described the way. Everybody has a way for conditioning, right? This is maybe can be said, this is a little bit personal, because it's not personal in terms of me, but because every single person has a little bit different way in which this chain unfolds. So the instruction for every single person, for every single sadhana, is to remember as soon as possible, I am not the body. If you can do this while pain is present, you stop this whole chain from unfolding. So it's not the question, who am I, maybe is not going to rise for you at that moment. But the recognition, I am not the body. I am that which is aware of the body. This returns you to the observer position, to the witness position. The next thing you have to do is you have to stop that judgmental mind, and you don't do that by saying, I need to stop this judgmental mind, right? You do it by simply acknowledging, I am not the body. This body is not me. I am not this pain. I am not this. I am not this. I am not this. And then there's going to be a natural question which rises in some moment. If you do this often enough, the question is going to be, then who am I? So this will bring you back further and further into the source and stop that outward flow of conditioning. Because right now you are here, right? You know you are here. There might be some pain in the body, right? Is there pain for you right now?
There is some.
A little bit, yeah. But you see, because we've already distracted the mind, the pain in the body is not noticed so much. So now learn to do this for yourself in the same way. Understand that you can speak with whatever is going on in the body, you can notice what's going on in the mind, you can be there, you can say, I'm not this, I am not this, I am not this. Naturally the question will come, then who am I? At some point. So just continue. We want as much as possible, when this chain of conditioning is unfolding, it can go from the self to what you described, all the way out to the end of the chain very quickly. So that's why we want to stop the whole judgment part of it. Your opinions about it don't matter. What the mind is saying in terms of judging you and saying you aren't not succeeding, or you're not doing sadhana, or you're not good at this, or whatever the mind is saying to you, it's not relevant. What is relevant is to begin again. To catch it as soon as possible, whether you catch it in the pain and say, I am not the body, or it goes through its whole conditioned chain of events, and then you go, oh, that's just conditioning. And you come back to the question, am I here? Am I aware? And then from there, what is aware? What is aware of the mind which is saying, oh, this is conditioning? So we just keep coming back very gently, very peacefully, toward this source which is already there. We're not establishing something new. So we're not using the inquiry to try to deny something is happening or trying to force something aside. We are using the inquiry in order that we remember who I am. And we do it as often as possible, or as often as needed. So you know now you are here. In this moment, you are here. Are you aware? Huh?
Yes.
Yes, you are aware, of course. See how quickly you know that? So now, next time this happens for you, you can hear my voice asking you. Then it will become your own voice at some point. It is your own voice anyway. Are you aware? Are you aware? Yes, instantly. Now everything that went on before is momentarily gone, and maybe permanently gone. You don't know. This is why it's very important to keep asking yourself, am I aware? Regardless of what's going on in the body. This is just another opportunity to notice the strength that you have in your recognition that you are the self. And if there is some weakness in that, then you use the inquiry in this way. And it's like, exercising. The more you do it, the stronger you get. And of course, that's only true until the you, the me, the mine disappears. And after that, it's not necessary. Your sadhana is finished after that. So just keep going. You can see, I've given you the progression. You can see how it goes. Okay, so don't go this way now. Go this way. Okay. Very good.
So my question is regarding the affirmation that I am not my body, which can sometimes lead to a kind of cutting to the experience and the spiritual bypass that
Yes.
we call.
Yes.
What's your advice on how to not fall into this trap of spiritual bypass and just shutting it off?
Yes. Very good. Yeah, that's a very important point. The understanding is not, I am not the body, and that leads to denial of the body. The understanding is, I am that which is aware, and I have a body at this moment. So that we include this recognition in the recognition that I am the self. And right now, in this moment, there is this body. So this body needs to be looked after in some way. Not because the body is important, but because the body is the vehicle for recognition. You know, in the Hindu pantheon, all of the gods and goddesses, right? Everyone is riding on some vehicle, right? Like Ganesha is riding on a mouse. Huh? So each of the deities has a vehicle. So in a way, I can say for you, you are the self, and this is the vehicle. Huh? But understand this is a mouse. This is not who you are. Okay? But still, we honor the body in a way, not obsessively, just by looking after it so that the sadhana can go on. This is all. Then there's no denial. Everything is included. This is the body of the Supreme. You don't have to make it the center of attention, but the degree to which it is functioning in a healthy and sustained way provides the opportunity for you to continue your sadhana until there is only the self, and the recognition of the body can fall apart. as me, the recognition of the body as me. Because if I say to you, are you aware? What do you say?
I am.
Yes, right away you know it, right? In this awareness, right here, right now, is there a body? Are you aware of a body in this recognition?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Yes and no. So the yes is because the center of the universe is manifesting as the heart in the center of being, but it appears here at the solar plexus. So the mind can perceive that the self is here at the solar plexus. It doesn't always do that unless you're really looking for it, which was a practice that Sri Ramana sometimes encouraged people to look right into the solar plexus, just to the right side of the chest, right side of the solar plexus, and to look for this opening, as he described it, where the self manifests as the body. He said, you can look here, you can put attention here, because anyone who says with any deep recognition, I am, is going to say, if they're asked, where are you? Where do you point? I say, where are you? Do you say, I'm over there? What do you do?
Okay.
You say, I'm here. Right there. So this is an indicator that this is where the self, the primal energy of the self, manifests as the body mind. So you can always return to this place. But it also points out what I'm referring to when I say that the body is an essential part of sadhana at this point. Until you realize the self, the body is the vehicle. So care for it gently, not with denial. So the instruction, I am the body, I am not the body, rather, I am not the body, is not a form of denial. I am not the body, I am the watcher of the body, the observer of the body. So the body is included, looked after as the vehicle of realization. There is no Buddha outside the one who is sitting here. Understood? Be like this. All the sages, all the saints, all the Buddhas, all the deities are all sitting here. Both without form and with form. So know yourself to be that. Then denial is not possible. Yeah. Okay. Thank you all for coming, for being patient, for participating in this Leela. Hari Om Tat Sat.